Farmer Nicole here at Circle C Farm, and I wanted to take a minute to have a conversation with you. I think that it's really important to provide some information and some perspective, as well as some answers to some questions that we get a lot. And we are noticing that we're getting a lot of these questions more frequently now because we have a lot more people finding us here locally, but also finding us on the website. And we want to make sure that you have some answers to some questions. And so let's have a conversation. Behind me, I have some pigs. I have some laying hen ducks, the laying chicken hens. On the other side, we have some more pigs, the mama pigs, with some babies. And in the pasture right now, we have some of the cows on this side. We have some of the calves and the weanlings on that side. We have the guys are moving the chicken hens. And so what I want to talk to you about is this: farming, farm stores, distribution, warehousing, marketing, and also about time, money, and value. So I'm going to be efficient about this, but I want to hit a couple of things in a way that maybe provides some explanation to many of you who are or have not lived in or on a farm, that maybe don't have any experience with the length of time that it takes to grow an animal, to get to a point of harvesting, and all of the different things that it takes to do what it is we do on a daily basis. So just as a full upfront piece, we are Circle C Farm. We are a 100% pasture raised, grass-fed, and grass-finished farm. We only have one barn that our livestock goes into that actually has completely sealed doors, and that is because we use that as our baby brooder for our baby chicks when they get to us as day olds from the hatchery. And other than that, all of the rest of our barns are completely open. So if you've been with us, you know that everything we've got is pastured, but it's also open. And we've shared that because I really want to be able to educate everybody, and then also share some information with other farmers too. So that way, if it helps them, that's awesome. So let's talk about the farm store. The farm store is a really cute, unique boutique opportunity for you to purchase not only our proteins, but some other produce and products that are produced by other farmers in the area and or are by other small business owners in the area that we try to support, or youth programs that we're trying to support, because that's what we do as a local community and as farmers. So why I bring that up is because we have some questions sometimes that says, whether it's an email or a text or a social media post, or sometimes even a review. And when you come to our little farm store, whether it's the farm store in Bonita, or it's here on the farm in Felda at our farm store, which is also where we have our scratch kitchen, we are not a 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15,000 square foot footprint. We are 500-600 square feet. The little store in Bonita has all of our proteins, all of our meats, our beef, our lamb, our pork, our chicken, our Wagyu beef, our duck, our eggs, our honey. We've got some of our essential oil blends, the tea line that I started, the soaps that I make, all of those things we have at our store in Bonita. In addition, we have some produce from some other farmers that we work with locally, and we have some other products that we have to offer from other small businesses or some of the youth programs in the area. And you'll also find that out at the farm store here in Felda. And why I bring that up is because we are not a grocery store. We're not a warehouse. We're not a distributor. We only work with the products we produce. We work very hard to provide as many products as possible. We do have a scratch kitchen. And as a result of that, we're able to produce those amazing breads and focaccias and bagels and biscuits and quiches and, oh my gosh, everything. We're going to be, pizzas and all these different wonderful, amazing things. And so why I'm sharing this with you is because it's really important for you to understand that we are not the big box stores. We are not going to be that. We don't want to be that. We want to be this unique opportunity for you to come to us and be able to say, I want to eat good, clean meats. I want to eat local produce. I'd like all of these things without chemicals, without colors, without gases, without injections, without medications, without any of these things that you'll find in other locations. And so that's really super important because that's what you came to us for. Now, everybody comes with a different expectation of what they're going to find, and that's a good thing. And so with us also being a small farm, and for those of you who don't know or maybe didn't realize, we here at Circle C Farm are the only ones in the entire state of Florida that have an on-farm, federally inspected USDA facility for red and white meat. What does that mean, Nicole? Well, what that means is that Manny and I have spent the last many, many, many years and in a sizable financial investment in what we're doing in order to have all of our livestock to be harvested here on farm. But why is that important? Well, that means that our livestock is going from over here to over there. Like over there is where our plant is. And that means that our animals are not being loaded up on trailers. They're not traveling for hours on end in contained spaces. They are literally minutes away from what or where they live all the time. So it's a no stress, low stress transition. They eat around the working pens for our red meat. So when we move them in there, they really don't care because they're used to it. They're comfortable and they're not stressed. And isn't that one of the reasons why you're coming to us? Yeah, I think it is. So I want to share that with you as well. Why I'm mentioning the fact that we're not a warehouse or a distributor is because we have a lot of newer people that are coming to us. And it's also a really good time to do a little refresher for our Circle C family that's been with us for a long time. And we value everybody. And we are very grateful because we are literally feeding hundreds of people a day. And that's indirectly because you guys have our meat in your kitchens or in your RVs or anywhere you are. But we're also feeding people in our scratch kitchen. We ship around the country in addition to providing our proteins for you locally. So again, why do I mention that? Well, think about this. We grow all of our livestock. Some of those animals take 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 months. Some take 14 to 16 months. And I'm standing over here next to the pigs on purpose. The cows, in order to consume that beef, those cows can take up to 2.5 to 3 years in order for that animal to be of size to justify a harvest. So again, Nicole, why are you sharing that with me? Well, I'm letting you know that what you're paying for, what the value is in what you're getting, separate from all the no chemicals, separate from all of those things that you already know about, but you're paying for the time that it takes for us to allow these animals to grow low and slow, naturally on the farm. You're investing in your health, your food, and in you, but you're also in a position to invest forward in the fact that we are here doing it right for you so that you can keep eating well. And I think sometimes people who are not in farming don't quite understand that it's a matter of time. So what do I mean? Well, the baby chicks get here and they take several weeks in the brooder before we can put them out on pasture. Our chickens typically take 12 to 14, sometimes 15 or 16 weeks in order for us to get them to a harvest weight so we can harvest them for you. So in a conventional system or setup, it would be 6 to 7 weeks. We're at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks in order to get them up to weight on the pasture naturally. And depending upon the time of the year, depends heavily on how many weeks it takes. If it's hotter, it may take them more because it takes them longer to naturally put that weight on because it's hotter. So they're spending some of their time eating and processing and converting, but they're also spending some of that time trying to keep themselves cool. And so that's for a whole different video with regards to how we do our outside mobile coops and houses. So I won't go into that now, but I want to mention that because the turkeys that we were having on the property take 9 to 10 months. The pigs are 14 to 16 months or more, depending upon how long they take. So it's really critical for you to understand the time frame. So what are you paying for? You're paying for the time. You're paying for the fact that we're not using chemicals. You're paying for the opportunity to enjoy the meats that we have that are not injected, colored, gassed, or any of those things. So when I get the question of why are you more expensive, I think it's relative to what it's taking for us to do what we do in order to bring you the product that we do on a consistent basis without altering, compromising, or shortening some of the things in the process, or completely or at all, in order to bring you the quality product that we're producing for you. So Nicole, question. Yes. Well, when I go to the farm store and I can't find a cut that I'm looking for, well, guess what? I know, I understand. So when you get over there and you're just like, well, I came in, I was looking for steak, or I was looking for pork chops. So what I'm going to say to you is this: turn it into an opportunity. So when you go, oh, okay, now I get to find something new. Okay, I was looking for this sausage. Well, I guess it's sold out because it's so good. So I get to look for a new sausage and try something new. And so that's what I want to share with you. That's what I want to ask, that when you come into the farm store or when you come onto the farm, we work really, really hard to make sure that we stay up with our production. We're producing every single week. We are a small farm. I think it's also important for you to know that there are around 10 of us at any given time doing everything we do, and that's including Manny and myself. And why I mention that is because we're not a big, massive farm. We don't have a huge group of individuals doing this. I mean, everything that we're doing that's by hand, everything that we're doing in the butcher shop is by hand. We package by hand. We do everything by hand. And we have a small little team. They're amazing. I cannot tell you how much I value them. Manny values them. They're just a really great group of people. But there's only a couple of us. And so on any given day, there may be 5 of us in the butcher shop. So think about that. We're feeding hundreds and hundreds of people a day collectively. And one week we may do chicken. The next week we do pork or pork and lamb. The next week we do beef. So I wanted to share that with you to give you some perspective, because it's really important for us. We work really, really hard to stay up with our production and to stay up with our butchering and to keep our meats as consistently as possible in the farm store for you and on the website. But sometimes we're not completely able to do that. And it's not because we don't want to, it's just because we have a really small team. Well, Nicole, if you have the demand and you have a small team, why don't you bring on more people? Well, it sounds really good, but what we do is really specialized. And yes, we can teach people, but the truth of the matter is that it's something that takes time to build up that skill. And not everybody's matched for it. So it makes it a little bit difficult in finding individuals that are a good match for us here at the farm, but are also skilled and are going to stay. And so having a revolving group of individuals just to have more people to try to move forward more quickly is not efficient, it's not effective, it's not cost effective, and as a matter of fact, it can actually slow us down, and I can tell you that because we've tried it. So I wanted to share that too, because many individuals that do shop and eat with us, you are also small business owners. And so you understand some of these things as well. And if you don't have your own business and you work for someone else, then it's something, though, that I wanted to share, because I think it's also something that you would understand. And so, but I want to be very candid about that. So let's talk about warehouse and distribution. So we're not a warehouse and we're not a distributor, and we don't want to be. Now, do we keep our own product in our warehouse here in the butcher shop? Yes, absolutely. We have our product in the farm store in Bonita and the farm store here in Feldal. But we're not a warehouse and we're not a distributor. This is not something that you just call over and say, hey, I need 25 more of these. Well, if the animal doesn't produce 25, then we aren't going to have it. So, that's also, again, a learning experience or an opportunity that I wanted to share with you. So I wanted to answer some questions that way. Also, we get the question, or sometimes people are like, well, what do you have in the farm store? So in the farm store, we try to provide not only our meats and our eggs and our honey and our organic teas and our essential oils and the oil blends and some soaps, but we also try to provide some other things that would accompany your meal. So we've got imported olive oils, we've got some other noodles, we've got pastas, we've got all sorts of cool stuff to add. And we try to give you lots of ideas, and we've got recipes on our website to help out too, in addition to doing, a generic search for stuff. So I wanted to share that with you. But the idea is to provide you the high quality meats. So when you do come to a farm, whether you come on the farm or you go into our little store in town, or you're out driving around and you see a farm in your area locally, when you go into their little farm stand, please be open about what's there. Please be excited about what's there and not disappointed in the fact that we as farmers are doing the best that we can, and there may not be something there that you were hoping for at that time. Maybe it'll be there later, but also understand seasonality. So like with produce, we work with a couple of different organic produce farmers around us here in our area, and we have those produce or that product at the store. Well, if it's not in season, we won't be able to have it. If the production that week was slower or less because of the weather, the rain, the heat, whatever, then we may not have as much lettuce, or may not have as much many carrots, or those types of things. So I wanted to share that with you too, because we are in a same situation as you are. We kind of have an idea of, oh, hey, let's have this for breakfast or lunch or dinner. And if it's not grown or produced or big enough to harvest, or it needs another week or two, then we're not going to have it either. So that means that you're not going to have it. And so I really want to flip this around to be something really positive. And I really, really want to make sure that you guys understand what happens with regards to what we're doing on the farm. If we're doing what we're doing and we know it takes this long, we plan and we prepare to the best of our ability. So I think the other thing I want to give you some perspective on is this. Farming and agriculture is very typically a cash style business. And I don't mean like green paper cash all the time. I mean, in the business world, there's cash and there's credit and debit cards that are used. But in agriculture, especially in small farming and small ag, like us, like many of our colleagues, our farming colleagues around us, not only here in Florida, but in other states as well, when you're shopping with us, when you spend your money that you've worked really hard for, we turn around and we take that and we plan forward in preparation. So we are constantly planning and anticipating that we've got chicks we need to plan for to work with a hatchery to get. So that means we've got to order them and pay for them so that they come to us in a timely fashion. We have to make sure that we're preparing for separating out some of the mama pigs so that we have some of those pigs that maybe we're not going to consume because we need to go ahead and put the boar on them so we can make more little piggies so we can have more pork chops and bacon. With the cows, we may not be harvesting certain animals because we need to go ahead and allow them to grow bigger because we need to turn them into mama cows. So, there are lots of different things that go into planning and preparation. And unlike the commodity world, unlike the industry that has everything in a warehouse that you can just call, we're not a super center, we're not a box store, we have to plan and prepare differently. So everything that it takes to get that meat, that honey, those eggs to the farm stores for you to enjoy and consume is everything that we put in 24/7, 365. And so I really wanted to share that with you. I wanted to provide some perspective. I know this has been a few minutes in this video, but I really value you all, and I'm on several of the agriculture and farm Facebook groups, and I see some comments often, and we've even had a couple people recently. And so I really thought it was valuable for me to come to you and say, hey, this is real, this is what we do, this is why we do it. Give you some perspective that you might not have had before, and to also give some explanations as to when you come into the farm store, there may or may not be all of the cuts that you're looking for and why. And it's really important for you to know that because the other systems have conditioned us collectively for certain things. You go into one of the big mammoth box stores and they've got pallets and pallets of a product. Well, if it's dry goods or that meat that's been there is fine, but maybe that meat was harvested, 12, 14, 16, 18 months ago. So what you're getting from your grocery stores is eggs that are 5 to 6 months old. You're getting meats that may be as much as a year to 2 years old. And that's fine. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it per se in that sense. I'm not doing a comparison between quality. I'm just saying from a time frame standpoint. Whereas what you're getting from us, what we're doing on the farm is eggs that are 24, 48 hours old, like 1 or 2 days, not 5 to 6 months. You're talking about animals that were harvested when we did chickens last week. We have the chicken meat in the store within a day or two. They were literally on the pasture 1-2 days before. If you're consuming our beef, it's beef that's been harvested recently, our pork that's been harvested recently, our lamb that's been harvested recently. We're not a warehouse in that sense, so we're not stockpiling for things like that. And I think that's also something to share as well, because again, it gives more perspective, but also very much a learning opportunity for you so that you know what goes into what we do on a daily basis. So I really, really hope that this has provided you with some information. I really hope that this has given you a different perspective. I've got the guardian dogs behind me. We've got the pigs, chickens, ducks. Guys are out moving over there. We've got meat chickens on the other side, Cornish cross, some sassos, all sorts of stuff going on the farm. So thank you very much for being part of the Circle C family. Thank you very much for taking the time to sit and go through this. I hope I have provided you with some additional information. And if you do have questions, please don't ever hesitate to ask. I'm really, really conscientious about trying and making sure that we keep the website updated, that everything is current, that our inventory is fresh and stocked for you, but also, and maybe equally as important, making sure that you have information on the website under our FAQs, under things that are going on the farm, all sorts of things like that. So please take the time to look through the website. Thank you very much for supporting us here at Circle C Farm and our team, and also for being with small farmers. If there's no farms, there's going to be no food. And it's going to take the time that it's going to take for us to be able to raise these animals and harvest them and get them to you so you can enjoy them and take advantage of their nutritional benefits just like we do. So again, thank you very much for being part of the Circle C family, and thank you for understanding. And I hope that this gives you some additional insight into how we do what we do, why we do it, and what the added value and benefit is in what we do. So I've got the dogs around me right now. So thank you very much and have an awesome day. And we look forward to seeing you at the farm store in Bonita and on the website and here at the Scratch Kitchen in our farm store in Felda. You're very important to us and you're appreciated. Have a great day.